Hey TransLash family, it's me, Amara Jones, with our weekly talk back. I'm noticing that my lipstick is matching everything around me. We wanted to start out with a reminder that we came out with our latest episode of the TransLash podcast entitled Netflix versus the Trans Community. We take a look at what the Dave Chappelle controversy actually says about Netflix and how they operate and how they deal with our community. So make sure that you check that out. Well, there's so many things that people are talking about this week. A lot of it actually good news, such as Michaela J being on the cover of The Advocate and the Out 100 coming out, and there being lots of amazing trans people on that list. So make sure that you check all of those out. And speaking of amazing trans people, we also wanted to shout out Alok, who started a new initiative with Spotify, also a partner of ours in the TransLash podcast space called Beyond Trans Visibility, and Alok shouted out our podcast. Next week, of course, it's Trans Week of Visibility. 2021 now has the designation of being the deadliest year on record for trans people. And so we'll be marking that in lots of different ways. I have several public events next week, including with GLAAD and the Women's March, so follow TransLash Media to keep track of those. We will also be putting out a zine next week, which will include a commemoration of those we've lost so far in this terrible, deadly year. So make sure that you tap into all of that. We also wanted to note this week that the person who put us into that deadliest category was identified this week, Markeisha Lawrence. So she and her family, of course, are in our thoughts and prayers. Well, that's what we have this week for our talkback. Make sure that you tune into next week's talkback. And I also just wanted to flag going out that we have several positions open at TransLash, so make sure that you read the newsletter to see what those are, one in the podcast space and the other in social media ongoing. So that's our talk back this week. Talk to you next week.